My name is Amy Rose. And I'm Tails. A couple of quick reminders before we send you down to the hotel proper. I'm only here because I'm wanted for an international incident. Shush. Cyberpunk Jordan is supported via Patreon. Supporting it helps the channel and nets you some sweet rewards. It's not like I already wired the money from your bank account anyway. Oh, Tails. What a kidder! You aren't serious, right? Sure, Amy. Anyway, link is in the description. We also have a Discord server where you can hang out with your fellow gummy bears. Be sure to spam Jordan with the cover of Sonic number 134. He'll love that. Don't actually do that. Tails, I swear. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You sound like every basic YouTuber out there. That's it. Get over here, you two-tailed brat. You ruined a perfectly good intro.
Hello my gummy bears, my name is Jordan, also known as CJ, and welcome back to Jordan's Soapbox, the show that talks about anything that I want to talk about. So, Sonic the Comic. Besides Mobius 25 years later, Sonic the Comic is easily one of the most requested topics that I've had for Jordan's Soapbox. Sonic the Comic was Britain's Sonic the Hedgehog comic book. Ah yes, the United Kingdom, home to cultural exports such as Doctor Who, Gordon Ramsay, and of course, colonialism. Although in its early days it was similar to Nintendo Power, featuring other comics about Sega franchises such as Shinobi. Yes, really, Shinobi. Yeah. And reviews of Sega Genesis titles. It lasted from 1993 until 2002, making it having a shorter run than Archie Sonic by about 15 years. It was also left unfinished with unresolved storylines. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog media is just officially cursed. Anyway, what always prevented me from reviewing it was the simple fact that I never grew up with Sonic the Comic. For Britons, this was their Sonic the Hedgehog comic, and I didn't feel with my little knowledge it was appropriate for me to cover it. But I've gotten a lot of requests for it from you guys that I finally decided to cave in and review it. But we're going to be doing things a little bit differently than normal. Similar to Archie Sonic, there's multiple arcs or eras the series can be divided into. This video covers the earliest days of Sonic the Comic, discussing issues 1 through 7. This was a time when the comic hadn't quite found its footing yet, similar to Archie Sonic, and the trope of early installment weirdness absolutely applies here. I do want to say one thing right off the bat. Weird does not equal bad. I actually quite like a lot of the stories we're about to talk about here. It was only starting in the 8th issue when Sonic the Comic really hit its stride with a continuous story. And even then, it took a while to really find its footing. So we'll be discussing these 7 stories, and yes, I'm only focusing on the Sonic ones, from an outsider's perspective. Basically the equivalent of a loud, obnoxious American tourist going to a British pub and causing a ruckus. And hey, if this video does well, I'd love to make more. I'm absolutely open to reviewing more issues of this comic. With all that said, we're sharper than a cyber razor, so let's dive into Sonic the Comic. What the actual hell is a cyber razor? Our story starts with Sonic blasting his way through Green Hill Zone on Mobius. Except this Mobius looks strictly similar to the original Sonic games. Dr. Robotnik is watching from afar, and engaging in absolutely terrible egg-based puns. There zooms the little blue speedball now. Exactly on time. Get out. Similar to other incarnations of the character, Dr. Robotnik wants to pollute the planet and what else? Take over the world. His latest contraption that would make BP plush is a machine that can pollute Mobius for thousands of years using its rings. Sonic attempts to stop the device, but the animals warn Sonic that it's a trap. Honestly, I'm not as worried about that as much as I am of Sonic having an aneurysm over here with that face. Yeah, you might want to get that checked, Sonic, just saying. Sonic smashes the machine with a simple Sonic Spin, or Super Spin Attack, and destroys it, leaving Robotnik on the back foot. The story ends as Sonic has no time to celebrate. He's looking for Tails. Sonic races through Green Hill Zone looking for Tails and finds a cowering rabbit, who explains that Tails, along with everyone else in the zone, was kidnapped by Dr. Robotnik. Sonic speeds off before being attacked by Badninks.
I've got an idea. Let's kill it.
Do you have any other ideas?
We should stay home and watch Big Brother.
Fine, we'll kill Sonic.
Sonic makes short work of the Badninks before heading towards Dr. Robotnik. It's revealed Tails is a half-robot, which, while weird, is actually super neat. It's certainly executed better here than later media like Sonic Lost World. Seriously, talk about a missed opportunity with that one. Tails attacks Sonic for a short while before snapping out of it, smashing the exoskeleton. Yeah, apparently it's not like a roboticizer type deal, it's more like a robot suit or something. Okay, it's still cool. And at least Tails got to do something in this form. Freaking Lost World, go to heck. Robotnik flees, exclaiming that he would rather watch El Dorado. I actually had to look this one up. El Dorado was an incredibly short-lived BBC series that only lasted 1 year in 1993. Cultural references aren't anything new for Sonic. Archie Sonic was full of these kind of references, so I'm not really gonna criticize it here. It's simply an interesting fact. The story ends with the two walking off into the sunset, Sonic commenting on how he wants to get them home before Tails causes any more trouble. We open this story with a bunch of Badninks hovering around a hole in the Marble Hill Zone. Ah, yes, Marble Hill Zone. The one zone that I was never able to beat as a kid. Or as an adult. Honestly, I think I just really suck at classic Sonic outside of Sonic Mania, which is the only classic Sonic game that I've beaten. And that was with Tails. A squirrel named Tufty is pleading for his life as he is about to be smashed by a wrecking ball. The Badninks are uninterested and ask if he has any final words. Meanwhile, Sonic is listening to some tunes. I wonder if he's listening to this. Anyway, whatever he's listening to, he is interrupted by Tails kicking him to get his attention. Gosh, that is wow, that is a panel. Frickin' frame this and put it in a museum somewhere. Sally Acorn needs help.
Wait, that's me?
It's a version of you from an alternate reality.
I'm scared.
So am I, Sally. So am I. Sally Acorn explains that Tufty is her brother who ran off with Sonic's old power boots. Yeah, that's what his shoes are called, I guess. To try and fight Dr. Robotnik. Tails and Sally are left behind as Sonic races to rescue Tufty. Tufty attempts to escape and flies into a wall. Ouch, that's gotta leave a mark. Sonic arrives in the nick of time, destroying most of the Badninks minus one Motobug. Sonic attempts to stop them, but both are caught under a crusher weight. Tufty pushes Sonic away, allowing him to destroy the Motobug. Sonic is not happy about being saved, as Tufty comments about how he might be the hero after all. Sonic responds with, "Yeah, right, don't get all gushy, kid." Jackass. Sonic reunites the siblings, and the story ends with Sonic violently taking off the shoes Tufty was wearing, saying, "Remember, there's only one Sonic the Hedgehog." Judging by his face, it's more like, "There's only one Sonic the Hedgehog, you little shit, don't forget it." Two animals are walking through Emerald Hill Zone when they flee, seeing a robotic version of Sonic, which looks absolutely demented. Meanwhile, Tails tries to keep up with Sonic, trying to tell him some of the animals saw him destroying gateways to the Special Zone. You know what? This franchise constantly features other characters mistaking other characters for Sonic. So you know what? Yeah, this is kind of acceptable. Freaking need glasses or eye contacts, all of you. Sonic dismisses him and tells him he'll take care of it. The duo are then attacked, with Sonic telling him to stay there and keep out of the way. However, since there's no spacing between words in these speech bubbles, it sounds like "stay there, kid, keep out of my way." Serif, I know you were trying to get out a lot of words, Sonic, but you could take a breath every now and then. Tails tries to assist Sonic regardless, but both end up crashing into each other. In a truly horrifying fashion, the robotic Sonic ends up having its organic battery installed. Ooh, I am not sleeping well after this. Robotnik, in a very stylish top hat and suit, where are you going, Robotnik? Vegas? Explains that he's using Badninks to stop any intruders from entering his base of operations, the Special Zone. However, he is interrupted by the robotic Sonic, who gains control and forces Robotnik to free him and the others by threatening to rip his mustache off. Hey, if it works, it works. Robotnik gets away, and the issue ends with Sonic vowing to be ready. We open with Sonic on a treadmill during his morning workout, with Tails monitoring his speed. He should also monitor Sonic's face, because what the heck is wrong with it? Seriously, Sonic, I think you have a dangerous medical condition. Please consult the NHS. Sonic is a little bit off from the speed of sound, with Sonic commenting he's out of shape. He blow dries his spikes, with Tails himself commenting how ridiculous it is. It's followed up by Sonic's breakfast of 200 burgers,
500 cigarettes.
Tails is kidnapped by what appears to be bacon. Now I'm hungry. But no, it turns out to be a Badnik. Sonic, Sally, who looks completely different in this issue compared to her last one, and unnamed critters chase after Tails. Sonic chastises Sally for complaining about getting lost, followed by calling her a pixel brain when suggesting they should flee during a shooting spear attack. You know what? In this continuity, you deserve to be slapped, Sonic. Tails is about to be placed into his old robot suit by a prime Badnik, a robot who lacks the typical animal battery of other Badnik, before being rescued by Sonic. The labyrinth starts to flood, with the prime Badnik chasing after them. Sonic has the idea of using the oil from the robot suit and then using the flamethrower that's just conveniently on there to light the oil on fire. I mean, good grief, it's cool, don't get me wrong, it's like really, really cool, but Sonic here just looks like,
Yes, be consumed by the flames.
Sonic and Tails arrive back with Sonic having 300 hot dogs and 100 milkshakes, with him saying the burgers were just the first course. This is how you become fat, Sonic. Although some people on the internet are into that, but we don't talk about that. We open with Sonic the Hedgehog looking at a hologram of Dr. Kintabor, which is now the home of Sonic. Wait a minute, hold on, what? What happened here? We have lore now, and the art style doesn't want to make me gouge out my eyeballs? Wow. Okay. I'm interested. Tails casually comments on how Dr. Kintabor was the man before Dr. Robotnik, but does understand how it's still his face. Sonic berates Tails and says it's merely a hologram to make the computer easier, which reveals the Death Egg space satellite is on its way to crash in the middle of Emerald Hill Zone. They use a plane to head to Wing Fortress Zone, with Tails being as equally as confused as the reader. Sonic runs through the defenses and Tails joins in later, the two departing via space shuttle to the Death Egg space satellite. There, Sonic faces against a damaged Silver Sonic. Yeah, this apparently takes place after Sonic 2, with this helpful footnote explaining that, despite the story itself not referencing anything like this until this point. Silver Sonic is defeated by Sonic, who prepares to fly the Death Egg space satellite away from Emerald Hill Zone in a self-sacrifice. Tails escapes and thinks Sonic is dead, but Sonic is safe and sound, criticizing Tails for stating the obvious. It ends as the escape pod lands while the sun sets, with Sonic basically demanding that the citizens throw him a party. Hello, my name is Dr. Jordan, and I'm diagnosing you with being an egotistical maniac. Your treatment shall be touching grass, and not the kind from Green Hill Zone. Tails flies the tornado into the Oil Ocean Zone as the inferno rages, firefighters attempting to put out the fire with no luck. Sonic performs a Sonic Cyclone to stop the fire, which is actually a pretty cool thing to see. However, there's no time to celebrate, as Red, one of the firefighters, explains there are death traps throughout the zone needing to be turned off inside the control room. That's easier said than done due to the harassment of an Aqueous? I actually don't know how to pronounce this, so... Aqueous. I think it's Aqueous. Aqueous Badnik, which leads to him being trapped in the oil as it's set on fire. I think that's just ironic punishment at this point. It seemingly finishes off the blue blur until this. Yup, we get to the thing that's likely the most infamous thing about Sonic the comic, its version of Supersonic. Whether other iterations of the franchise view it as just a superpower transformation, Supersonic in Sonic the comic is a transformation that also has the side effect of losing one's sanity. It's one of many differences that this comic has compared to other iterations of Sonic, but I also feel that's what makes it so unique and cool. Tails explains this has only happened once before, when Sonic absorbed too many rings and basically tells everyone to duck for cover. Sonic is berserk in this state. Even when the Badnik is defeated, Supersonic charges towards the animal to finish them off. Tails and Red attempt to stop him, and eventually Tails snaps him out of it. Sonic explains how tapping into that energy basically made him lose his marbles. And the issue's storyline is honestly kind of haphazardly resolved, with Sonic speeding off to deactivate the traps. I don't think it's gonna be the last that we see of this Supersonic. And that's basically the early issues of Sonic the comic. Honestly, I enjoyed it. Yes, some of the stories suck and the art on most of these are pretty terrible. But it does get better, and it did get better. We leave the series with a sprinkle of lore and an interesting concept to make this version of Sonic truly its own. I genuinely love what I read, and I want to see where things go. But for now, we'll leave things here. For now, my name is Jordan, also known as CJ, and join us next time as we talk about Ken Penders' magnum opus, Mobius, 25 years later. Ooh boy.